Razabane for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined here on Zoom this Sunday afternoon with the knowledge himself, Mr. Spencer Fearon. Spence, firstly, how are we doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. I mean, yeah, I'm really good, to tell you the honest truth. Like, family's well. Yeah, I'm good. And may I say, like, a massive happy birthday to Keisha Cook, the daughter of James Cook. They had a celebration down at Pedro Youth Centre yesterday for her birthday, where me, Tundi, Ads, James Cook, Anthony Yarde, we did a Fight Is Right from there. We did a fight along. It was so much fun. The most fun that I've had in a little while. So yeah, massive happy birthday to Keisha. It's mad that I've known Keisha from she's been a little baby, man. Like when James Cook used to see her, a big woman with children, it's amazing. So yeah, but I had such a good time, man. And let me just big up Carmen Cook, James's wife, because she makes the wickedest fried chicken ever.
You
Don't let my I'm in trouble.
You mentioned Anthony Yarde. I can see his fights actually is on in the background on your laptop, Spence. We will come back to Anthony Yarde to just go over his victory last weekend. But I just want to firstly touch on last night's boxing matchroom event in Liverpool, Conor Benn versus Chris Algieri. Before I ask any questions about Conor and his resume so far and what he can go on to achieve, what did you make of his performance? Firstly,
it was superb. You know what? Prior to the fight, like when it was in there was in the pre-fight build-up and the interviews and that, he looked very drawn to me. And I know Conor, he walks around very big, but you know what? You know what I mean? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because his dad used to walk around big. And to see that performance, I don't know business, but they'll talk about, well, you know what? Algieri was like 37 years old, you know, Algieri's seen the bit. No, Algieri is working for his own, so he gets time to watch a lot of Conor Benn and think, you know what, I could take this guy. And I think that's how it came about. But it's a difference in thinking you could do something and actually doing it. And the thing that really, really impressed me about Conor was his head movement. His head movement was superb, right? And you can only do that kind of head movement if you have like to slip punches while you're in punching range yourself, so you could get hit, to move out and then to spin, throw left hooks off of it. He could have been watching his pops himself. I remember when I remember when Nigel Benn fought Henry Wharton, and Henry Wharton could really bang. Don't get twisted. Henry Wharton could punch, and Nigel changed his style completely from being this dart destroyer to boxing, offsetting, throwing off the jab, hooking off at the jab. And I saw essence of that. But what I do like about Conor is that he just wants to go, and we should give him all the credit in the world. He didn't have to box. He boxed because he wanted to box. I mean, his dad is a legend. Don't get twisted. Nigel Benn is a legend, right? A legend, and a man that is financially secure as well. So he didn't have to. So Conor boxes because he wants to box. And I remember the first time I ever met Conor, this is a little while ago now, at a dinner, and we were speaking, and he was saying, like, yeah, he knows he wants to box, but he knows he's got big shoes to fill. And I said, you don't have to fill no shoes, you just got to fill your own. And the nice thing is this: take away the fact that he is Nigel Benn's son. Yeah, he is exciting. He speaks well. Even after, I love these interviews after fights, how he conducts himself as well. I really got a lot of time for Conor. I really got a lot of time for him. And the thing about it is this: also we got props to Tony Sims, because Tony Sims was given a hard task in having Nigel Benn's son. So he knows eyeballs are going to be on him hard. And Tony's not a guy for the limelight himself, but how he's carved, and they got this really good relationship. All the props in the world to Conor Benn. I was very, very impressed. That knockout is a highlight reel knockout. And that's what he's doing. And he's going to continue doing this, and he's going to continue. And Eddie Hearns, he's got the right mechanism behind him to push him, to build him up even more. And Conor Benn's got superstar written all over him.
How far away is it? The welterweight division is probably one of the most hardest divisions in boxing. We know there's politics involved in the welterweight division, especially with Eddie Hearn, because most of the belts are with PBC and Al Heyman, and they struggle to make deals together. So how far away is he from those guys, the Spences, the Crawfords, etc.? Because Spence, let's real talk, as you always say. There is a lot of criticism towards Conor. I was reading online, and as much as there's a lot of positiveness about his performance, they look at Algieri, and he's, like you said, he's 37 years old. He fought. He fought Errol Spence 5 years ago. He fought Amir Khan 6 years ago. He fought Manny Pacquiao 7 years ago. Is he still learning? Does he still need more time to develop before he steps up to that next level?
Of course, Conor Benn is still learning, right? This is evident. Conor Benn is not fooling nobody by telling like saying a bag of lies and saying I'm the best, I'm this, I'm no. He said I want to fight who the people proclaim that they're the best. What is wrong with a young man saying that? There's a man going after, like I keep on going on about, his dreams and aspirations. He's stepping forward, so he won't be in the same place. And he's not in the same place because he stepped forward. You know what I mean? He's being prepared to ask. So as he's asking, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to get no's in his life. He's doing this. Do you know what I mean? He's going after what he wants, because what I realize, like, people don't go after what they want. You know what I mean? And they'll never have it. So I will prefer somebody like a Conor Benn who's saying, yeah, I am learning. But you know what? I'm in the gym working hard, and he's working hard, right? And it's evident that he's working hard. And when people complain about, well, Algieri was, yeah, okay, cool, Algieri was, but that's why you're meant to knock out guys like that. If they weren't this, that, yeah, you just bang them out, give us a highlight reel, and bring in also the casual fans, right? And there's also a synergy. There's grannies out there now who remember Nigel Benn, the Raw Fusilier, who went out to America in 1990 and knocked out Doug Dewitt, April of 1990, right? We remember that guy. Remember that guy of November 1990 who had that war with Chris Eubank and got stopped in the ninth round, and him coming back, then going out to Italy to become world champion to win the super middleweight WBC crown. So no, we cannot complain about Conor Benn or no, we have to take it for what it is. Now, if he was giving lackluster performances and then yeah, I'll be complaining. But he ain't kidding nobody. He's going out there doing his thing. People, I've noticed, like, people come down hard when they look at success, right? But this is how it goes, is this. And I've noticed this a lot. And I could use Eddie Hearns as an example. Because Eddie Hearns' father has created a platform for his son now to walk across on that platform, it's like people can begrudge where they're going with it, right? Similarly to Conor Benn. Conor Benn has been given a platform because of what his father has done, right? But that's what you're meant to do as a dad. And I know, because I'm a father. So everything I'm doing right now is actually for my children. You know what I mean? So I'm not begrudging no one. I'm not begrudging success. People need to realize that. Andy Yarde said this yesterday. It's like, when you're happy for other people's successes, yours are around the corner. I'm paraphrasing here, right? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And people are going to complain anyway. They're going to come, right. But as long as we put in performances like that, I don't care who's fighting. It's excitement. And it's entertainment.
Spence, yesterday he said, look, I want to fight Adrien Broner. And again, I don't mean to be negative here, but I'm just going to say it as it is. You know, you look at Adrien Broner, he's been out of the ring for such a long period of time. And I know for Conor, a victory over Adrien Broner obviously puts Adrien Broner on his record. But should he be calling out people like the Jaron Ennises, the Virgil Ortizes, the Avanesians? Is that the level he should be calling out before he moves to that next level, elite level?
Stop for 1 second. I was keeping this thing 100, yeah? I know Bowsy moves his dad really well, right? Don't disrespect Ennis and call his name in the same as Avanesian. And that's no disrespect to Avanesian. He's a damn good fighter, right? There's levels to this thing. That Bute's on a different level. That, as far as I'm concerned, right, that Boots has got greatness around him. I'm being real. I could be wrong if you can't get knocked out his next fight. But what I'm seeing right now, and as you know, you'll have to wake up very early in the morning to say that you watch more boxing than me. over years I've done this. So if I'm saying you're gonna have to, that boy is a special talent. A very, very special talent, Raz. But when you say you should be calling out the Avenetians, this is a business. Avenetian is a dangerous man, right? Now, say to yourself, where he is at, where this is a business. If Avenetian can build, because this is just with the casual fans, we're calling it Avenetian. Avenetian is not a big name guy to say, okay, then. So it's like maximum risk against minimum reward with someone like Avenetian. Something that I would like to see, but we've also got to look at there's a mechanics in this business, right? So when you're saying, well, should you be calling out someone like Broner? He's been out for a little while, but no, but Broner is still a bigger name than the other gentleman that you've called. He's a massive name, right? And we saw Broner tweet something the other day that, oh yeah, man, me and might have to go talk to Eddie Hearns, all the rest of it. Then yeah, that'd be a great fight. But even if Broner's up for it, that's not an easy fight for Conor Benn. Are you nuts? Here was a man that's a four-time four-weight world champion, and we're looking at Adrien Broner as an underachiever, a four-weight world champion. All right, come on. It's me you're talking to, my friend, Raz.
I just want to get your thoughts on, obviously, Eddie Hearns' comments yesterday where he said Conor Benn knocks out Amir Khan in 2 rounds. And when he put that out, I saw the tweet and I was reading the comments and everyone was talking about, well, at the same age when Amir was 25, like Conor is now, Amir was a unified champion, was a silver medalist, etc. Is that Eddie just using Amir's name just to get a bit of clout?
Yeah, of course he is. But Eddie Hearns is a promoter. That's what he meant to do, right? And it's worked because you've asked me that question. I didn't hear what Eddie Hearns said because we was doing a live, and you know, like if they hear the background of the fights, they try to cut your live. So, but me, Tundi, Anti-Yard, big ads, we were doing a live. So as we were doing our live, so we didn't hear what Eddie Hearns had to say, but I rarely listen to what he has to say. Like on TV, when me and him speak personally, it's a different thing, but I really listen to it. And Eddie Hearns a salesman, and it's worked because you're talking about it now. But when you're talking about knockout Amir Khan next, come on, man, that's cool. Let Amir Khan concentrate solely on this Kell Brook fight, and whatever happens in that fight, I believe that both men should walk off into the sunset. And the next, I said this yesterday on the Fight Is Right to Tundi, and I'm saying it again. Resumes, Amir Khan's got one of the best resumes of any British fighter. No, that's number one. Number two, Amir Khan has a far superior resume to Kell Brooks. Far superior. And that's not me knocking Kell Brooks. I know Kell's a cool guy, but I'm saying Amir Khan's got a far more superior resume. And when you're saying like he'll knock out Eddie Hearns saying he'll knock out Khan, yeah, possibly. But the thing about it is this is like Amir Khan ain't taking that fight anyway. Next question.
Spence, obviously, Conor's had some great victories over the last 12 months, 18 months for Mella, Vargas, Granados, Chris Algieri last night. Is it without doubt he's by far the most improved fighter in British boxing over the last 2 years?
Yeah, because I remember, was it Pineda he fought?
Granados?
The Frenchman?
Yes,
no.
Yeah.
And he struggled in that fight, the first fight. That fight should have been given at least a draw, right? But I like the fact that he's gone away, the fact that he's reassessed and reassembled. And yeah, I would say that he's massively improved. So, you know, all the credit in the world to him, man. I really like Conor. I like him as a person. I really do like him. Good kid. Well,
we'll look forward to seeing what's next for Conor in 2022. Spence, the man behind you, his trainer who just called you to Ajayi, Anthony Yarde, put on a devastating performance last week. I just want to touch on the lead up to the fight. Pat Barrett said, we know what Anthony Yarde's going to do. He has to start fast. And I spoke to you during fight week and you said to me that, actually I spoke to you at York Hall and you said to me that when Anthony Yarde starts fight, they may be ready for it. And you predicted a late stoppage. But what went wrong for Lyndon when they were expecting Yarde to come out fast? What went wrong that he wasn't able to react to that?
No, you're dealing with, listen, this time, you weren't fighting just Tunde Ajayi and his knowledge. You was fighting James Cook, former British and European champion. You're fighting a James Cook who's been through the mills, who came in and they tried to just put him on the road as a journeyman, and he made good of it. So you're fighting that as well. You're fighting Tunde Ajayi ringing me at 4:30 in the morning this time last year, right? When he was a bit downbeat, and me and him had a serious sit down. Me and Tony had a serious sit down, and yeah, and he was like, really like he just had enough. He probably had enough. Everyone was on Tunde about, oh yeah, Anthony Lara should leave him and blah 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 and all the rest of it. Then I mean, I went away to work for ESPN Plus for Carl Frampton's unfortunate world title challenge against Jamel Herring. And then when I got back, I had to quarantine. I was talking to you, so I had to quarantine in the government hotel for, 12 days. So while being there, me and Tunde were speaking regularly. I brought out my head, so we were speaking regularly. And as we were speaking, it was like, they were going to make changes with this and that. And he weren't too sure what was going to happen. You know what I mean? But I like to say to everyone that loyalty is royalty. And people don't see the things that Tunde does behind the scenes. So they're just seeing this guy on TV like, oh, this obnoxious character or blah, blah, whereas they don't know the guy. You know what I mean? I know him and I trust him. Very trustworthy human being, right? And he's learning himself. But I think what they needed was that old lion. So it was kind of weird. It came off on my timeline. While I was at Sky, I brought James Cook into Sky to promote his book, which he's got, Guardian of the Streets. It was a really, really good book. Melinda Lloyd wrote the book. Really, really good book about James Cook's life and everything that he's been through and such. And James Cook, he was on the show with me, and it came on my timeline, like James Cook came on the timeline. I said, oh, look at this. And Tunde phones me, they said, yeah, you know what, Spence, what do you think, like, bringing James Cook in the camp, right? And I was like, I think that'd be excellent, because James used to train me, but I have a really strong personal relationship. James is like family to me. Really strong personal relationship with him, his children, his wife. We're very close, and you've seen the things that James does in the community as well, where he works with children. He set up Pedro's boxing gym, which is on the Murder Mile in Hackney, which we go back 5 years ago, had the highest murder rate in the whole of the country. That's ridiculous, right? This one little mile. So I said, yeah. And like Tony was like, right, he ain't said nothing bad about me, has he? I said, never ever. James is cool like that. And he said, yeah. And Tony kept saying, like, I keep on having dreams about James Cook. I said, Tunde, you know what? Just popped on my phone. So I'm showing my phone. I said, this just popped up on my phone, like on my timeline, me and James. And it was like something like from God. I'm going to be real. You know what I mean? And to see how they work, it's nice that Tunde now has a senior for him to confide in himself, as well as Anthony Yarde, because Tunde's still a young lion himself. You know what I mean? He's getting older, but he's still a young lion, right? Anthony Yarde is a young lion as well. So I think they just needed that older head, not to really change nothing majorly, but to implement certain things, or to gently tell you, let's try this here and let's, you know what I mean? And those are the things which I think was so desperately needed. And we saw what happened come fight time. We saw what happened. And there's no way that Lyndon Arthur was going to, I was saying like, yeah, late stoppage. But I was only being kind to you when I was saying that. Because really and truly, me and Tony were talking. I said, Tony, I'd be surprised if this goes 5 rounds. But I don't put no pressure on you, but I'd be surprised if this goes 5 rounds. Because I know how pumped Anthony was. And I was seeing like on the reports of like on the things that he was doing in the gym. And I gave Tunde loads of fights. So from last year, Tunde's just been harassing me. Send me your best jabbers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Send me like short guys dealing with taller guys. Send me, so I was sending him some old black and white. Tunde's become like an old historian right now. I was sending him some loads of fights to go and study, man. You know what I mean? He was studying Cleveland Williams versus Sonny Liston. Cleveland Williams had a ridiculously fast jab. Sonny Liston was a short guy. They fought twice. But their 1959 fight, and he was there watching that. He was like, boy, you know what? the inside work of Mike Tyson, the inside work of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, the second fight, June 12th, 1989. You know what I mean? In Las Vegas, where they gave it a draw, but I gave Tony 2 rounds to study. I said, study round 5 and study round 11. And the inside work of Sugar Ray Leonard was absolutely ridiculous, right? How he just bang them in. I said, listen, that's what you're meant to do with Lyndon Arthur. Don't, yeah? And you got James Cook there. And James was saying, like, yeah, we're gonna really start fast. Yeah? But there was a lot of pent-up emotions and everything else. I mean, I don't want to keep on going about the loss of family that Anthony Yarde had. You know what I mean? But that was deep as well. And I'm telling you, no doubt that played heavily in his mind. But I'm gonna be real. I think Anthony Yarde, Tundi, they needed that to be their real kick up the bum. You know what I mean? So sometimes we get things, we get tests and trials, but apparently we're going through something to mean that we're going to come out, the operative is that we're going to come out on the other side. And what they did the other day, they came out on the other side. What I am also going to say is this. I think, and Pat's my really good friend, and you know this, right? I think they were kind of taken off of their game plan a little bit because Pat made it about him and Tundi. You know what I mean? Where he should have been solely focusing on his fight, right? And I understand when emotions are high and everything else and and blah, and you know what I mean? And also like certain people look and say, well, you know what? Why is Tundi getting all this acclaim? And But it's not been good. It's not been, people ain't saying, no one ain't jump up saying good things about him, right? But they brought in a man in James Cook. They didn't change nothing in their training routines, really and truly, but it was just to implement little subtleties. That's what it was, and that's their presence. And I saw that happen, and they needed that all their head, and they got it. And after props, all of them. You know what I mean? Cutman Cam, Big Ads, Tundi, James Cook, but more so, you know what I mean, my little nephew. He's my little nephew in Anthony Yarde. That was superb, and I'm so proud of him. So proud of him. Good kid.
Spence, what do you want to see Anthony do next? Obviously, we know in Frank's stable, Callum Johnson's having that world title shot against Joe Smith Jr.
Sorry, I don't want Anthony Yarde to do next. Yesterday was at Keisha Cook's birthday party, and Anthony rocked up. Anthony rocked up trying to dress like me, right? Anthony rocked up. He had a flat cap. He had a tailored full-length coat, and he had a pair of Pradas on. And I want Anthony Yarde to get me a pair. We're the same size, and give me them Pradas, man. That's what I want.
The light heavyweight division is stacked here in the UK, but what would you like to see him do next? We don't want to see Anthony Yarde take, those smaller level fights. We want him to step up now and really make him mark in the division.
You know what? He's got to fight the winner of Johnson and Smith, right? I could go back about 5 years ago and predict that Anthony Yarde was going to fight Smith for the WBO World Title. But Tundi just reminded me of it. I said, oh yeah, I want to go find that out on my timeline. But I remember predicting that day he was going to fight. This must have been about 4 years ago. Right, so that fight's going to happen. And I think the way Anthony Yarde fought the other day was scintillatingly exciting. And it's like, yeah, you could have won the fight. They could have gone points and no one would care. No, he completely and utterly took a big broomstick and swept away 2020, which he never had a good one. And he swept it away. So I think we should call Anthony Yarde the janitor now, because he sweeps up shit. He was like, that was a tyrannical display of boxing. I saw a little bit of Roy Jones in there. I saw because me and Andy was speaking the other day, he was saying like he watching David Moore versus Roberto Duran, and how Roberto Duran will tie up their hands, and then he holds their hands, he's holding your hand, but then he's throwing downstairs on you. This is joyous to me, because I'm seeing like a young man making the legends continue to live. Because if we stick to how things are now, we're gonna forget about the legends. You know what I mean? We're gonna forget about them. But as long as I'm alive and I got breath in my body, I'm gonna make sure that we young men study legends. Because great fighters leave clues.
Okay, Spence, always appreciate you jumping on. Give me a few minutes of your time. You have gone beyond what you said we were going to do,
Yeah,
as
but
always.
it's when I get, when I get into the flow with you, Raz, because you're genuine. I just like to talk it. You know what I mean? And that's that. And what I am gonna say is right now is like to everyone, just be safe, right? Let's just whatever you have to do, just be safe. Be safe and also be sensible with your safety, because like so it's of this COVID within a year, it's 17 people that I know have passed away from it, and some dear friends I know, like friends of mine who lost their mother. You know what I mean? So yeah, so let me say a big massive big up to Andrew Thomas. He lost his mom to COVID. You know what I mean? And his mom was a beacon of the community because they were his father was a big pastor in the church, and like so my condolences really to the Thomas family. It's been about a month now since her funeral, but I'm telling everyone just to be safe and appreciate life. Seriously, appreciate life. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe that you're blessed or you haven't got blessings in your life, you wake up every day with a blessing. That is life. So live life. That's what I'm saying. Just live life. You know what I mean? And try and be positive. That's what I'm saying. Just try and be positive and spread love. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I'm never, ever going to change. You know what I mean? Never, ever. Keep on doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's a plum pleasing pleasure. I love IFL. Big up Coogan as well. I got a big up Coogan because me and Coogan had a little heart to heart the other day. I ain't gonna get into it, but we did it. And I got props Coogan as well. Keep on waving that flag, yeah? Peace, 2 fingers. I'm out.
Spence, thank you as always. We'll catch up next week. It's Parker to Zora. And yeah, I'll hit you up next week and we'll do another one. Spencer Fearon for IFL TV. Thank you very much.